Alright guys, thanks for watching in advance. This is Ethan with Yoda Forge 3D. Going to be running through the super easy install of the new Scangauge3 case or RAM mount conversion. Honestly, it'll only take us a couple minutes, but never hurts to have a little bit of instruction. So for this first portion, we're going to work on swapping the Scangauge unit from the original case over to the new 3D printed housing. It is made out of, or printed out of ASA carbon fiber currently. So it's more than enough, or more than durable enough to withstand any temps you're going to see inside the cockpit. And it has fantastic UV protection as well. So shouldn't have any issues there by any means. But let's go ahead and get started. The only part that, or tool that we're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver. It is fairly fine tipped. Just find one that works. Pretty cut and dry. There's basically 4 screws. I had one that ran off with my toddler, so we're gonna assume there's a screw there, but we're gonna remove these 4. So we'll get started with that one. They'll pop right out. Just keep those. Obviously, don't let your toddler run off with them. It's a good start. Okay. And then the Scangauge unit will basically have the face plate that pops right off. And then this is kind of the main reason for designing this, or at least half the reason. You can see all the extra space. Since all the screws are on the outer edge, it makes the case bigger than it needs to be. So that's partially what this kind of takes care of as well. So all we're going to really do here is this just slides straight out. That's the back. Obviously you don't want to be rough or damage any of those ribbon cables or anything like that. So we're actually going to put this screen down just on our mat, and then we can totally discard the back half of the case. Obviously keep those in case you ever need any kind of warranty on your Scangauge, but for no further need for them at this point in the video. All right, at this point, this is how you're going to get the new Scangauge3 conversion case, or hardware, I guess. Essentially, it's already going to be put together, just no screws. Ultimately, basically, since there's no screws, we'll just push on the inside. It will just slide right out. It'll just separate the front from the back housing. Essentially, it has the same standoffs, everything, so it'll fit nice and flush. Has plenty of vents for any heat dissipation, just like the Scangauge does as well. And then obviously your little speaker, your little chirp for the alarm. So with that, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting in the actual LCD and circuit board. It'll slide right in just the same. And it will be just ever so slightly protruding by maybe a millimeter. So everything should be nice and flush from that point. And kind of just reverse install more or less. The only thing to be aware of is obviously you're going to have a notch for the RAM mount. So just make sure that you're not trying to put it on upside down. It's going to basically just friction fit or press fit right in there. Just kind of work it in. Eventually you'll be flush all the way around, or at least within a mil, because the screw holes will all line up perfect and hold it tight. And obviously everything looks pretty good. We're ready for the screws. So that's pretty much the main gist of it. Let's throw the couple screws in here. And they will recess right in, so they'll be nice and flush. They don't need to be crazy tight, obviously. So that's the first side. Obviously it looks very nice. Doesn't matter which order you do these, obviously, as well. Now for my purpose, we're just going to do the top one. I will grab that last screw after this video is in, and we'll throw it in. But that's essentially the first part. Just actually swap the case over. Obviously you'll clean any fingerprints once the install is fully complete. But that's pretty much the basics right up front. Now it's ready for the actual install in the car. So we'll jump over to that. All right, so here's basically the full kit. This is what will be kind of what's included, or if you're sourcing it yourself and you just want the actual mount, then it'll give you a rough idea of what you're going to need and some of the tools required. So obviously you're going to need a couple tools, really basic. Got a 10 mil, so you gotta maybe go buy one. Ratchet, you're gonna have a 3/16, 5 mil, and either a trim popping tool, small flathead screwdriver, pocket knife, whatever works, just to get a little plug off. That's where we're gonna be right there. And then if you get the full kit, you'll have the A-pillar ram ball mount or adapter. You'll have your dual swivel ram extension just to get from ball to ball. And then I do include a nut and a bolt to replace one of the upper T handles just for cleaner install. I didn't like one more thing obstructing my view, so that's why I include that. It is optional, so we'll cover that. But with that, let's go ahead. Let's go get everything installed. All right. Okay, we'll let the camera refocus. Alright, so just to get started here, lots of this may seem like common sense. We're going to cover it anyways. Obviously, we're going to start by removing the plug cover so we can get access to the 10 mil bolt that's securing the bottom portion of the grab handle. Obviously, mine's already been drilled. So with that, I've found bottom right corner, or closest corner to you, is going to be the easiest to kind of weasel your way in. So it's really soft plastic, comes right out. Obviously mine's already drilled, that's okay. So with that out of the way, now we're gonna go ahead and remove the 10 mil bolt that's securing it. It's maybe 15 millimeters long, it's not super crazy. Okay. Oh, jump the gun a little bit. Okay. All right, that's what she looks like, so pretty easy. Set that aside, we will not be reusing it. All right, with that in mind, here's where we will be using the A-pillar ram ball in addition to the 5 mil Allen key. So basically just goes right in. If you're going to trim your cover, now's obviously the time to do it. If you're not gonna trim it, you can totally skip that. I'm not gonna really show you how to do it. Just start slow. You can always take more material, you can't add it back. So just to give you a good idea, that is what mine looks like. All right, so with that in mind, let's go ahead. We're gonna zoom in just a smidgen. All right, okay, perfect. So with that, let's go ahead and get this all tightened down since we've already covered the trimming portion. The only thing that I'd like to mention here is, obviously since stuff is 3D printed, there's going to be a seam somewhere. I do like to put that towards the windshield, and it will slightly rotate as it gets as tight as it's going to be. So it may take you a time or two of just fine tuning where that seam is before you crank it down. Okay, I'm loving that. All right. So from here, honestly, install is very simple. Basically, we have our two different mounts, one on the Scangauge, one on the actual A-pillar. That is where the dual swivel mount comes into play. So we're going to attach it first to the Scangauge. Just open up one of these T-handles. It'll open up wide enough for you to slot the Scangauge in. Then you'll tighten it back down. I just go just lightly hand tight, just so you can still move it around, since we're going to be playing with this a little bit. And then the other side, actually let's rotate this. I like to keep the Scangauge side handle towards the A-pillar so it's kind of hidden. And then the other one, we're just going to start with it kind of right up top, just to make it easy. So we're going to open this up, we'll come down, open it enough to where it will clamp right on. And we're going to twist that. Now it's just hand tight. We can still move it, angle it, everything we need to, and then we'll end up clamping it down. But this will give you a little bit of flexibility with where you kind of want this to end up. And honestly, it's pretty cut and dry. I'm not going to show you how to run the wiring or anything for the Scangauge. It's super simple, pretty self-explanatory. But maybe that's something for another time. With that, the only thing that we have not yet covered is the extra nut and bolt that is provided to kind of streamline some of the install or get rid of this top knob, just to make it look a bit cleaner. So if you do want to go that route, and we're going to assume that, you know, 1/2 inch off the dash is right where we want it to be, right there, that's great. We're a happy camper. Nothing else needed there. At this point, let's go ahead and we're going to untwist this all the way. It'll pop right off. This T portion is the actual nut. There's a bolt that goes all the way through. We're basically just going to remove this real fast here. You can just press the bolt out the other side. It will pop right out. That's what she looks like. We'll just set that aside. And then the way I'm going to do this for myself is on the bottom side that's kind of hidden or that you don't really see. That's the side I'm going to put the nut. Technically, you could go on either side. It basically fits right into the same recess that the bolt did. So pretty easy. It's going to slide right back in place. And now we're going to use the actual bolt. Obviously that nut's not captured by anything necessarily, so just put your thumb there. Make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. At least start the thread so you're not going to lose it. And then we'll just do the same install. The only flip side is this time we're going to use the 3/16 to actually tighten it up. And I'm just going to do it as much as I can by hand, since it's a little bit tightish on space with the windshield. And then we'll come in, just kind of hold the Scangauge where you want it, and we're going to start cranking that down. And that is pretty much it. Obviously I didn't tighten my Scangauge all the way down on the front end, but that gives you pretty much the gist. From there, go ahead, you'll just plug in the cable, and your install is done at that point. There's really nothing crazy about it. With that, you can obviously tinker with some of the angles and whatnot, but that's pretty much the gist. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to reach out through Etsy, or you can obviously go ahead and comment on this video as well, and I will get back to you. So, super easy. Give you a couple other angles with that, but that's essentially how she's going to shape up. I appreciate you bearing with me. I am by no means a videographer, so these minor productions are they are what they are, and I know that. So with that, let me know if you have anything else. Appreciate you watching.